Well, I had a bit of a bummer. This side of the tarp came loose. So lost a couple of togs up there. And then when we got to here, lost a tog, lost a tog, lost a tog. At which point, grommet tore out. Grommet tore out. Grommet tore out. And this one, which is still intact, actually broke the prucus. And I would like to point out that it surviving this long was, well, we didn't get a lot of activity in middle Georgia from Hurricane Debby. But this, yeah, we had some winds. Not a lot. I don't even think that we had that much rain. So the anchor rope came loose from the top of the beam clamp, which is weird. All of these are intact. Well, there were a couple of togs that came loose, and I put those back up and then come all the way out. Everything on this side is fine. The rope to the tree is fine. The guy wire to the ground is fine. Even the secondary guy wire that we put on here just for a little tension. So most of the problem was on the other side. To be fair, I may have over torqued everything on the side that failed, causing it to fail. My wife asks, now what? Well, we replaced the grommets, or put new grommets in, rather. Reinforce those areas. We'll use some Gorilla Tape and then put the grommets through the Gorilla Tape. I don't know. I have a memory of somebody doing that, suggesting that it adds substantial strength, but we'll give that a shot and get this back in the air. But we still have a lot of shade, which makes a big difference. The truck said it was 103, so shade is nice. So, we're gonna try to fix this. We've got a couple of issues. First of all, we're losing grommets, so I might have to come back and hammer grommets through the material and or use some tarp clamps, which I did not bring with me today. But one of the issues I had at the conex here at the top was where the clamps were, the string came off. And it was just under tension. And I kind of assumed, and you know what happens when you assume, that there would be enough resistance there with the threads. And apparently that pulled off at least two of them. And then it is now pulled out the grommet at the corner. So what I have are some nuts and some washers that fit onto these guys to give a little more surface area here at the top. And what I was fumbling with down below the camera are some silly little spring clips. Why? I don't know. When I looked at them, I thought maybe that's a solution I'll try. The string is fine. I have some additional, this is 1/4 inch polypro rope that we used on guy wires. And then I have some 1/8 inch polypro camo cord, which I used on my bootlaces. Now this is obviously bigger than this. And this is obviously bigger than both of these. And this is neither. My thought is that the metal clip would be less flexible. It would offer a little rigidity. And maybe with that rigidity, particularly wrapped around here, that all it would do was swivel and not up and down. So I'm going to put the washer and nut combination together and put it on the first one, and we'll see how it works. Fingers crossed. Okay, to reiterate, I bought washers and I bought nuts. And I wasn't really sure I did this the other day. I wasn't sure why I got nuts. I thought I could just put the washer on there and that'll probably hold it. Probably hold it. But that's a square head versus a hexagonal head, and it is very wibbly wobbly. And if you look at that closely, it's actually over two of the corners of the squareness. So this may have been what I was thinking. I don't remember what I was thinking, but I have the ability to do this, is to create additional surface area. Let me demonstrate that on camera versus off camera. So I can put the nut on there, and that's not going to pull off. Put the washer on there and increase my surface area and locked it up against that nut, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going to pull over, and you can see the size difference between the square head and the nut itself. It's subtle, but in this particular case it is significant. And I actually thought that it might go through there, but it's not going to go through there. So it'll go through there. We've got enough surface area. That's kind of nice and pretty, and that's not going to pull off. Fly just landed on the camera. And I'll put this through the tarp grommet. So we'll try this. Okay, got the first one together. Here is the grommet and the tarp. Let's see how hard this is too. Okay, so there's that. Let's make it overly complicated. All right, so there's that. Get this going in the right direction. Put it in the right spot. Kind of like that. So not as complicated as I thought. I'm going to swap out. Lost my balance. I am going to swap out the remainder on this end. So there are a total of 6. And then I'll go to the far end. So those were the 2 in the middle. And we'll do the 2 on this end. Okay, so I forget where I picked up this trick. It's probably somewhere on the YouTube. But using a heavy-duty tape, like a duct tape, this is Gorilla Tape. It's super, super sticky. I have put 2 pieces going parallel to the edge of the tarp, one on each side, in hopes that this distributes some of the load out this way. Additionally, I have put a piece that is going perpendicular to the side, which creates more surface area going out across the tarp on the top and the bottom. So we've got load going out this way, we've got load going out this way, we've got load going this way. So hopefully that'll put less stress on the grommet in the tarp, and it won't pull out of the tarp. You don't need to see the rest. Let's just say they were successful. With the one up here at the front, since the corner had pulled out, or off in this case, I went with the next closest grommet just to secure this along this edge and keep it from flopping around. I know I've got a lot of work to do down the edge. The far end's okay. This end, which is the front end, which I used the blue ratchet strap on, may have been a little on the tight side, but additionally I was thinking about it, and the prussiks weren't sliding up and down the rope as much as I had hoped, so that may have caused some additional pressure or force rather on the string, which is a very, very, very small surface area against the grommet itself, and then just, you know, pulled it out. So between the Gorilla Tape trick and possibly some larger cordage to go through the holes to make the prussics, maybe it'll hold on to the toggles a little bit better, the wooden sticks, so that they don't slip out in the wind as they're flopping around. The other option would be to do some sort of a roughing up of the toggles. This would be knurling, which is on a ratchet handle, but you could do a groove in the middle so that with a little bit of tension it holds onto it or bites a little bit better. I could scuff up the bark. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. So you didn't get all of the exciting action, but we did the Gorilla Tape thing that we did earlier. Put some grommets through it, put some prussics on there, and then the same thing on the corner up here. We're about to get some thunderstorms, and that's not thunder, that's creaking of the door on the conex, and then we got a little bit of wind, so we'll see what this does. Alright, so we got a little bit of a breeze going just to slow down the flutter a bit. I used another prussic, doubled it up on a stick which is only about 5.5 feet tall, and then I jammed the stick in between the fender and the tire to keep it from wiggling around, just to keep this part from riding up and down plus or minus 2 feet, which might have been a little on the dangerous side, well, destructive side. And over here on this side you can see where the corner goes off to the tree, and this closest is a guy wire that goes down to a little tree, and then this is a guy wire that connects to the first guy wire down here, just for a little tension so that the water will pool up and roll off about here. Well, it survived the night. We had a heck of a thunderstorm come through town last night, and we had rain here. Only thing that didn't survive is that corner. I had to reinvestigate. All of the repairs except for that one corner held up. My little stick trick worked. Well, I don't know that it worked. It didn't fail. The middle didn't fall in, and everything underneath here is still dry. We will call this more successful than the previous attempt. And until this fails, I'm just gonna leave it like it is, and I have a plan for when it does, because that's just the way life happens. Okay, so there's a nice breeze blowing. Yesterday evening we had a strong thunderstorm come through and sparked high winds around town, and we got a little fluff. Okay, so you can see the stick bouncing up and down. I just moved the trailer and put the stick, attached the tarp back to it like I showed you, and kind of jammed it under the fender weld, and it picked it straight up, and it was about 6 feet in the air. But all of the mechanical connections to the container are intact. All of togs and the prussics along this side and the other are intact, except for the one corner here at the front, which, you know, tore loose. Anyway, yay. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Too many hobbies, not enough time.
It's a theme song, y'all.